dragging me on your back the whole game too, you punk.
Yeah, but you gon' feel it, Cooley. I'm telling you, you gon' feel it.
I told you keep that camera running, you might miss something.
We're gonna be in your face and letting you know the real talk.
This is the NFL, which stands for not for long.
But for all you celebrities who have threatened to leave the country, whether Trump or Hillary wins, well, number one is we thought your bitch ass was already gone, and we've been praying that you will leave. Two is I, for one, will help pack your damn bags to get you out of this country, because I think it'd be a real good idea if you go to a third world country, to another country, and play your music or do your sports or do your acting somewhere else and realize just how good you got it. So if you don't like it here because one of the candidates wins, then take your un-American, self-absorbed, narcissistic, self-righteous, self-important ass and move it to another country. Because quite frankly, you just add to the pussification of being un-American. Get your ass out. We don't need you.
And welcome to Prudent Politics. I'm Noah Groniger, here with our senior political correspondent, Clint Schweitzer.
Thank you, Noah. It's good to be here.
Yes, it is. Donald Trump has taken the presidency. Your thoughts?
Okay, I can't do this anymore, but I'll tell you what.
I can't either. Thank you for ending that.
Have we ever started a not-for-long pro football show any better than what we just heard right there?
I don't think so. It is politics, but Sean Salisbury bringing it unfiltered on that. Oh my God, I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to hear from Sean again later in the show on yet a more, pro football related topic. Not that that matters anymore, because here on the Not For Long show, Clint Schweitzer, Noah Groniger, we are making football great again. We're going to make the NFL great again, if not right here in this studio, the Great American Sports Network studio.
That might be a bigger job than the economy and immigration and foreign policy, making the NFL great again. We only got one team out here that's playing good football.
Well, you might be right about that. I think as we come off a game against the Kansas City Chiefs, our team here in Kansas City struggled to beat a bad Jacksonville Jaguars team at home. The Chiefs were without, I believe, was it 5 starters on offense?
No Alex Smith. Jeremy Maclin goes out. Spencer Ware, Jamal Charles,
Parker
Enger.
You just had an offense that was not at full strength, and the defense did some good things, though, despite giving up over 100 yards rushing to Chris Ivory and letting the Jaguars stick around in that game. Other than that, you can't make an apology for that. I think you get a little bit of a get out of jail free card considering the personnel that was going. I mean, what other team in the NFL could lose your starting quarterback, running back, receiver, and go in there and
end up losing your tight end?
Right,
end up thrown out of the game, ejected out of here. Hey now, you're gone, sir.
Craziness by Travis Kelce, and he's that's ridiculous, by the way. But we're
most immature player in the NFL, I have to say.
You talk about one good team, playing good football, and that's the Patriots. And we're going to talk to former Patriot great, one of the best of all time. He's in the Patriots Hall of Fame, Kevin Falk, coming up here.
Mr. Do-It-All.
But aside from that, the Chiefs are 6-2. The AFC West is a topsy-turvy division right now. There's 6-3 Denver, 7-2 Raiders sit at the top of this, but the Chiefs have that head-to-head win. Where are the Chiefs going to figure into this thing? We've asked this question every week. The Chiefs do have that road win in the division. Where's this thing going? Do we believe in Oakland after beating the Denver Broncos?
I don't know. Oakland's got a tough stretch at the end of the year against all the division opponents at Kansas City, at Denver, at San Diego. That's a tough stretch for them. Can they come out of it unscathed? I'm not so sure about that. And the Kansas City Chiefs have won 16 out of their last 18 regular season games. And our friend, guest of the show, yes, Jeffrey Chidia on NFL.com said, if the Chiefs stay healthy, look for them to run the table. Don't be surprised if they run the table here.
I would be surprised if they did that. A tough game at Carolina. I think Carolina is definitely not the Panthers we saw last year going to the Super Bowl. The offense is not very good. Cam Newton is just not the dynamic player this year that we've seen. And the Chiefs defense it's getting better. And they've been holding teams to well below their scoring averages.
Yeah.
And I think that's a trend that's going to continue. I think we're looking in for a low scoring game because I think Carolina can still play defense. Not as good as last year, by the way. I think this Chiefs team needs this win, and it's going to be interesting if the Chiefs go, and I think they do get this win. But It's going to be close for comfort, I think.
It is. You liked this game a couple weeks ago, but the Carolina Panthers have rolled off 2 wins in a row. Not very impressive. Their offense really struggles. It's just muddied up there. That offensive line isn't good. He can't get the ball to any of these receivers. Even Kelvin Benjamin isn't having a great season. So I like the Chiefs in this game, but it's kind of cautious optimism here because Alex Smith has been out a week. Spencer Ware's been out a week. Jeremy Maclin may not still play with this growing injury. So it's kind of cautious optimism. I still like him in this game, but I'm not sure.
It's going to be really interesting. And you talk about the Raiders and that win they had over Denver. And the Raiders have been just living on the edge all season long, winning by 1 point or in overtime against teams with losing records. That's what they've been doing. And then they get that win over Denver. And I think that was the first time in Oakland we'd seen a game of that magnitude where they were able to actually step up and win a game. The running game's getting better. Of course, you have the dynamic passing game with Derek Carr. What is this going to mean for them? That win, does that knock Denver out of it? Are we saying goodbye to Denver at this point? I don't like what they have on offense at all.
No, that offense is dreadful. Trevor Siemian still has not impressed me all season long. He made one good deep throw down the right sideline for a touchdown, but other than that, he's just not impressed me. And this defense, without Aqib Talib, this defense is not the same. You talk about, well, they had DeMarcus Ware out earlier. They've got Shane Ray. They've got Barrett. They've got other outside linebackers. They've got pass rushers on this team that can fill in just fine without DeMarcus Ware. But you take Aqib Talib away, Bradley Roby's in there, and then you've just got 4th and 5th strings. Kayvon Webster was out as well, their 4th guy. So then you're getting down to 5th, 6th corners options, and Oakland definitely exploited that all game long. Yeah. And Aqib Talib is the driving force for that defense. He needs to be out there for them to be successful and for them to get back in this race.
Well, what about we saw the New England Patriots had their bye week, and Tom Brady's playing maybe the best football of his career right now. Voted for Donald Trump, took some flack for that on social media. I say, go Tom. If Tom says it's okay, then so do I. Where does it? What's going to have to happen for this Patriots team to not have home field advantage throughout the playoffs and just have this whole thing just sort of handed to them at this point? Lose to Seattle, I guess.
I mean. Other than mass injuries, they got 2 tough games left. This coming Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks, who are going to Gillette, and then later in the season they go to Denver. Those are the 2 teams on their schedule that could provide a loss for the New England Patriots. They would have to lose both of those. Some other teams would have to win out with 2 losses. They'd have to win out, go 14-2 to get home field advantage, or mass injuries would have to derail this Patriots season. Yeah. Other than that, they are Super Bowl bound, Super Bowl champions. The only question is who will be Super Bowl MVP?
Tom Brady?
Okay, there are no questions left.
I mean, at this point, I have to give all the credit in the world, and I mean this sincerely, because I'm a Tom Brady fan. Noah, you are too. We know a lot of people out there absolutely hate this man, and I can see why, because people tend to scoff their nose at greatness. It's hard to accept greatness, and what we're looking at is greatness. You're looking at a pure Picasso out there painting his story on the field every Sunday, and after 4 games of being suspended, he's on a mission. He's on a mission like John Rambo and Rambo 2 when he had to rescue POWs on his own without a government that turned their back on the bureaucracy and the mercenaries of this country.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Sorry, I really like that movie.
It is a great film. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's only been out for, 20 years? I don't
30.
Know, 30. There you go.
Got all these helmets up here. And you told me beforehand, these are the teams that impressed you this last week, but only one of them's making the playoffs. Explain.
Yeah, that's a little rough. I probably should have given this more thought. These teams impressed me this past weekend, but only the Oakland Raiders really have a shot at this playoff thing. The others they impressed me for a week, but come playoff time, they will not be seen. So Turks and Caicos somewhere.
The Dallas Cowboys, man. The Dallas Cowboys. The question is, the cliched question we like to ask in this business, are they for real? Are the Dallas Cowboys for real? And how is this quarterback situation going to affect them down the stretch here as the season? We're halfway through the season and more than half now.
Are they for real? In today's NFL and today's NFC, they are for real. They are the best team in the NFC. You've got the Seahawks out here losing games to the Saints. Maybe should have lost that game to the Bills. There's some questionable calls there the other night. But yeah, I think the Cowboys are for real in this quarterback situation. As much as Jerry Jones wants to pull the trigger and put his boy Tony Romo back in that football game, back on the saddle there behind that offensive line in Dallas. They got to stick with Dak Prescott behind them. Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones' son, he's really calling the shots there. Jerry Jones is getting long in the tooth. He's an old man. They're going to keep Dak Prescott rolling things there in Dallas.
Which is hard for Jerry Jones considering Dak Prescott played at Mississippi State and not Arkansas. I know it's hard. I know it's hard not to just push those hogs up there, and like he's done before with the Felix Joneses of the world and stuff like that. They really did, but
why isn't he trading for Niall Davis? Please.
Oh, yeah, Niall Davis, who played for 3 different teams, I believe, in a 2-week period. Is that unprecedented? I mean, my God.
It has to be.
He's back in Kansas City where he rightfully belongs, gaining, 1 yard on 1 carry. That's about his career production.
After leaving for a cup of coffee with Green Bay and then the Jets, who had him for, I think, 2 days and decided, no, thank you.
Any chance that the AFC playoff picture looks anything other than 3 teams out of the AFC West making it, with a division champion, 2 wild cards from the AFC West? Any chance that is not the case?
It's a small chance. I mean, Baltimore is at the top of the AFC North right now. If Pittsburgh can regain their footing, maybe Denver falls off. Maybe Aqib Talib's back bothers him all season long and he doesn't get back on the field. I look for him to get back on the field and make Denver prevalent again in this race. So I don't see it. I think you got 3 teams coming out of the West, and then your division winners, which look like the Texans and the Patriots, and then who knows?
The Chiefs.
Everyone's favorite segment is coming up.
We're going
Not
big.
just mine, not just yours. Now everyone's favorite segment, Sean Smack Unfiltered.
All right, guys, let's, no, we're not talking election, okay? We our best to our country, and he's all of our president, and let's just hope for great peace, and as we move forward that we can all agree to make it all better, regardless of who you voted for. So no politics here. Just want happiness and peace for everybody. But what I do want to talk about is football, and a team that, talk about underrated candidates. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are as underrated as there is in the league. I do. When you look at the teams, especially in this division, you think, does every team have a weakness? Yeah, the Chargers haven't been able to close. Well, they finally did, but that's cost them. We know the Raiders play great offense and probably have the MVP of the league right now in Derek Carr, but they're susceptible on defense. And then you got the Denver Broncos, who can't stop the run. They got physically manhandled by the Raiders' offensive line, and their offense doesn't really scare anybody at the quarterback position. Sometimes efficient, but not great. So then you look over to the team that happens to be at what I think is as good a venue, as good as college atmosphere as there is in the NFL at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, and that's the Chiefs. And in Andy Reid, they just steady. As you guys know, the Kansas City Chiefs, steady. 6-2 right now. Nobody's really talking about them. But yet what I love about them is the next man up mentality of them. We've talked about this earlier, about at the beginning of the year about that. The Chiefs have adopted that as well. Depth at running back, an explosive tight end. Better on the perimeter, which has been a weakness at times in the vertical passing game. Alex Smith goes out. You get a veteran that can come in and hold it down, and Nick Foles. I really like this team, guys. I think 3 teams from the AFC West have a real legitimate chance to make the playoffs and do damage. So if you're going to roll into Kansas City or you're going to host Kansas City as a football team, you damn well better be ready to step up and play like a football playing Jesse and a grown man, or they will get you. This is a team, and now with Justin Houston back, while their defense doesn't get the pub of somebody like Seattle or somebody like Denver, I'll tell you right now, if you're faint of heart, you don't want to play against Kansas City's defense when they're right. And getting healthy for them makes them a dangerous football team at certain positions. Do not count this Chiefs team out. And I'm talking about the division as well, not just the playoffs. The Kansas City Chiefs are dangerous, well coached, and an unbelievable fan base. We'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.
Sean Smack Unfiltered. Only here on the Not For Long Pro Football Show. Once again, I don't know why you'd go anywhere else for your pro football news each week.
Maybe on
It's right
Twitter,
here.
at Sean Unfiltered. That's where I'd go.
Definitely
you can follow
go
him
there.
on Twitter, get all sorts of other takes from him. But man, he brings it hard. He always does. And we've got to ask him sometime about this Packers team. They lose a game to the Colts in Lambeau. Yeah, they're doing a swan dive on their face. This is not an impressive football team.
You know what they're doing? They're doing like a Hillary Clinton. Yeah.
Yeah, people are speculating
anything.
she didn't come out and talk last night because she was just too devastated.
Well, could Aaron Rodgers talk after what happened?
I don't think so.
Called into question. He did talk, and he called into question the effort of his team out there against the Colts. Is that fair or not fair? Or is he part of this too? He's not played well all year.
He's definitely part of it. There's been some open receivers. I know that's been talked about a lot about how the receivers are not getting any separation, although Jordy Nelson is starting to come along and look better after that ACL injury. But they have no running game. That offensive line is suspect. Aaron Rodgers, as much as he wants to put the blame elsewhere, it's on him as well. He had Jordy Nelson open a few times and just overthrew him, just threw bad pass, and we're not accustomed to that with Aaron Rodgers. He's a great quarterback.
And as bad as we've talked about this Colts team being, a team with Andrew Luck on it is a team that's going to fight till the end, and that's what they did, and they were able to win that game. unbelievably. And the Packers had a furious comeback. And the Colts are a team that they're still alive in their division. I don't think they're going to win it, but they're still there. And
Houston's got Jacksonville this weekend, so they're going to get up again on the Colts. They just keep running away with this thing, even though they're a horrible football team or whatever.
Noah, before we go, greatamericansportsnetwork.com.
At GASN Sports on Twitter.
All of it. Please hit us up. We love the interaction. We love it positively, negatively, anything that impacts my social life, anything that threatens my life. I'm okay with really any
Exactly. Positive things, I feel good about myself. I go to work. I'm productive. I get things done. Negative things, I sit at home, curled in a corner in a fetal position crying, meaning I get the day off work. So either way, I'm good with it.
And that's how we will end today on the Not For Long Pro Football Show. Thank you for letting us make football great again here on the Great American Sports Network.
Good night.